Hello, friends, and welcome to Shuddy Uppy Let's Talk King and Queens podcast. My name is Steve Lott, and we have an exciting show for you today. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Dusty Salisbury, who this past week was like a kid shopping for clothes during the last snowstorm in North Carolina. Dusty, how are you?
What is up, you demented old circus monkeys? I'm doing great tonight. I'm so glad the snow is over with here in North Carolina. I only need one day of snow and I'm good. I'm done. So I'm so glad it's over with.
By the way, we're recording on Groundhog's Day, so I didn't even know. Did
Oh,
Punxsutawney
yeah.
Phil?
He did. He saw a shadow. I know
saw-
because we did second grade stuff today. So that's what we did. He did
So-
see his shadow, so we will have more winter.
More winter. Oh, okay. 6 more
Great.
weeks. Awesome. That lovely voice you heard was our other co-host, Jenna Maureen, aka Starshine. She was feeling a little under the weather last week, but she is back with a vengeance and ready to go. Jenna, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
So you're feeling a lot better?
Much better. Yes.
Much better.
Much better.
Excellent. Well, we're going to get right into it. Today, we're considering this a bonus episode. We have an exciting guest for you. She was born and raised in San Jose, California. She attended college at San Diego State University, where she found her love for acting. She's appeared in many one-act plays, which helped get her booked on TV shows and movies, including Love and War, Murphy Brown, Desperate Housewives, Weeds, and many more. But today we're here to talk to her about her appearances on the King of Queens TV show. Please welcome the very lovely and talented Nikki Tyler-Flynn. Nikki, how are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Happy to be here. You guys were so sweet to invite me.
Absolutely. That's all Dusty. He's our booking guy.
Was that you, Dusty?
Oh, yeah.
You had perseverance. You kept At first I was like, what? No. And then because I'm scared of the technical stuff.
Yeah.
And you were so sweet. And then finally I was like, yeah, maybe in the new year. And then you're like, January.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Want to be on the show?
Yeah, that's right.
I've never done a podcast before. I've done Zoom stuff and I've done tons of auditions, because now that's the way the industry is, where you self-tape you have to put yourself on tape. You're basically your camera operator, your director, you're all of it, lighting. But I haven't actually done a podcast, so this is my first.
There we go. You can check this off your list. Check this off your bucket list.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to lately, Nikki? We looked at your IMDb. It looks like you're very active and got a lot of stuff going on. But what about lately? I know with the pandemic and everything, it's like you mentioned, it's very different in the acting world.
It's so different. It's so different anyway since I started, because things are just, I've been doing this, oh my gosh, probably 35 years.
Wow.
But yeah, I've been in it for a while. But the acting business has changed a lot. Like I said, you self-tape yourself here at home, which at first I was having complete panic attacks about it, because I'm just not the best. I'm a little late to the party of computers and everything. So I just thought, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to be filming myself and then downloading it and then, putting it in, I'm editing it and then, having to do a WeTransfer. So that's been a process. So auditions have been slim. COVID has changed, it's been pretty dry, but it's kind of given me some time to write. And, that's when I first got started, that's what I was doing. I was writing one acts. And that's how I first started to work in the businesses. I would put up my own work and then people would come in. We've had Gary Marshall and the Farrelly brothers have come to my shows, and a lot of really wonderful people have taken time out of their days to come. And that's what I used to do. And I kind of stopped writing when I had kids, and now, with COVID, I've had time. So I've just kind of get back to writing a little bit.
Oh, that's great. That's
That's
great.
awesome.
Do you have any so when you say you're writing, you said you're writing one act plays, anything else, or
No,
is it
just
mostly like
yeah.
screenplays and things like that?
It's just I used to write a lot of one acts, and I used to
Okay.
produce theater at the Tiffany Theater on Sunset. It was the place to do theater. It was real. I mean, any theater out here is the place to do theater, but the
Yeah.
Tiffany was really cool because it was on Sunset Boulevard, and it was a beautiful theater. So yeah, I used to do a lot of that, and I just kind of put it, put it on the back burner because kids kind of take over your life.
Oh
And
yeah.
Yep.
so I feel like I semi-retired for a little bit, and unwillingly, like I didn't know it, but I was so busy with the kids, I wasn't pounding the pavement anymore. Because really, you have to. I mean, if I want to work, I have to make it happen. And
Yeah.
that's how I did it when I was younger, and I was such a hustler. I remember being on Third Rock from the Sun, and literally at lunch break, had already planned, a little note with my headshot, went over to the casting for the single guy, because I knew that they were on the studio lot. And since I'm on the studio lot, and that's how I used to get my work is I was relentless until they like auditioned me. And that kind of is true with the King and Queens, how it first started. Cause I've played 3 characters on the King and Queens.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so the first time I auditioned, it was I just got called in from I think a showcase or a play that I did, and somebody in the office brought me in for a reading, and I didn't get it. But I saw Kevin in the room, and then the show was so new, he was literally sitting in on the auditions, which you don't usually have the star of the show unless it's like they're just new and they just, they're because they get so busy. Kevin was like
Yeah.
writing and, I mean, he was so busy. So, so in the beginning, he wasn't probably as busy. He was in the audition and I didn't get it. And then I saw, that they were looking for a wedding coordinator and they wanted a guy. And I knew somebody and I said, "Can you see if I could get in on this?" And they said, "No, no, they just want guys." But for me, it was like I was always against anybody because I'm a character actor. So I was never like I had to be, like I was I was always like I would sit in a room and there'd be every race, everything. And thin, tall, small, shorter, heavier, it just didn't matter. So anyway, they decided they didn't find what they were looking for. And then that was on a Friday. I think they saw all those guys. And then on Monday, we got a call and said, "Can she come in? Now we're going to bring in other people because we didn't find what we were looking for." And I ended up getting the wedding coordinator, which then led to, other stuff because it went well. And, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have seen all the episodes, but what an honor to be yelled at by Jerry Stiller. I mean,
Yeah.
how many people can say that? And that's all I could think about when I was sitting there. It was George on Seinfeld, like screamed at. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how did I get here? This is insane." Because he's screaming at me about the martini bar or something. So, yeah. So that's kind of how it all started.
That's
That's
awesome.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
So that was in, I want to say 2001,
I
right?
think, yeah, I looked at my thing today. I didn't want you guys to be able to, know too much more than me. So the first episode was 2001. And then I did they brought me back in, which I thought was really weird because most shows back then,
Right.
they were in the continuity. You don't bring back the same actor. I mean, I still see all the time. And when they're casting, they'll say, "If you've worked on the show, do not submit your actors." They don't like that. So
Okay.
I love that about Kevin. I mean, we got to say Kevin is like the most fabulous person in the world. He's been so, so good to me and my husband. And I'm just so grateful. I'm beyond grateful for him. But so then I got in on the other part. They brought me in for looking at the house. I don't know what episode that was. It was the house they wanted to buy. I don't know.
Right.
Ooh, am I stumping you guys? Oh,
Is it the baseball glove one? That one? The one where the
It's a
house that he wanted to buy?
flashback.
Yes.
It's a flashback. I don't know.
Yes.
And he
Dougie
says,
Hauser.
Dougie Hauser.
yes,
Yeah.
Dougie Hauser. Yes.
I'm looking at your IMDb. So.
Okay.
And it's spelled
then we-
Houser.
Yes. Okay. So we did that. And then when Lisa came up, the final part that turned into, like 9 more episodes, I saw it from my agent's breakdowns that they were looking for a woman in the boss in the office. And then they had a little part of a secretary also in the office. And the woman that they wanted to be Carrie's boss had to be like, so strong. And like, I just didn't see myself doing it. And so I had my agent call over and say, can Nikki read for the smaller part? And they said, they called back and they go, we do want to bring her in, but we want to read her for the big part, the office, who the lady was like, I don't know if you guys remember, she was on 2 episodes. I don't know her name, but she was just, New York tough against Carrie. I can't go against Carrie. My colleague, I'm just not funny like that. So they wanted to read me for that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never gone in and had a bad reading. I don't want to go in because I'm not going to get it. And if I'm not going to get it, I'm going to look bad because I'm not going to be as good as, because I'm not that I'm not as good. I just didn't think my character was right. Like who I am, you kind of know what you can play really well. And if I didn't think I was going to get it, I didn't want to go in on it. So we were my husband was helping me trying to talk the Rock Rubin, who's one of the producers, because he was on the phone and was trying to say, well, I really think I'm right, for the other. And well, Kevin wants you to come in for this one. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I went in and I read for her and I just knew I just wasn't right for it, but I worked. I did it. I think I did a good read-in. I just wasn't right for it. And I left and I was so bummed that I put myself in that position. And then I got a call and they said, they want you, because I knew she was going to recur because it was a new part for Leah in the office. And when I read it, I thought this character is going to just keep coming back.
Right.
It ended up that I made the right choice because she only had 2 episodes and I ended up having 9 more episodes.
You always were one that stuck out to me. I loved you. You're so nice. And like when I would see you in other movies, I was like, she was on King of Queens. Like, so you always stuck out to me. So it is an honor to have you here.
Oh, yes. So cute. Thank you. No, that was like, it was just I was so blessed to work with those guys. And like I said, Kevin was just, he was just so good to me. I just like, I remember once I went up to him, I was so and I loved watching him work. Like he's like Jackie Gleason. I mean, he is so physically funny. I mean, that pole episode he did. It's one of the funniest things ever, right?
Yeah.
That's my all-time favorite episode.
Oh yeah. Well, you asked me, you said, what's your favorite episode you were in? So I said, I gave you that episode of Moxie, but truly that was my favorite. And the one with, oh my gosh, what's her name? I know her. She's the waitress.
Oh yes.
Rebecca Corey. Yes. That was the funniest thing ever when he was afraid to leave the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was great.
That's funny.
So you're pretty much like answering all the questions that we want to ask.
Well, I got a question. What was it like? You were basically Carrie's best friend in the show, other than Kelly. What was it like working with Leah?
Leah was so nice. I didn't get the opportunity to know her as well. But she was nothing but nice, especially later, because I think she thought, oh, you're not going away. You're still here. Once Holly went off, Nicole Sullivan went off, then it seemed like they just needed me for, more anything. Like, I think I went to the gym with her. I went to like a birthday party. We went out of town. So I think I got really lucky there that she had gone off the show, because I then kind of was blessed enough to become the little sidekick too.
Yeah.
She was fantastic. In the beginning, I didn't deal as much with her. Even though my scenes were with her, it just didn't seem like we got to talk as much. But later, like the last 2 seasons, I got to talk to her more, and she was everybody was just so nice. I just ended up getting to know Kevin a lot better. My husband is good friends with his brother, and Gary Valentine, who was on the show GV. Played Danny, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So so we then our worlds, and I became good friends with Kevin's wife, Steffiana, and so I just dealt more with them, and then they thought of me when other things came up. Gosh, I remember I would get a call from Steffiana and go, Nikki, Kevin wants you to in Here Comes a Boom. I'm like, yeah, no, they've been good to me.
So as far as that works, I mean, you do 11 episodes on the King of Queens, and obviously you're getting to know, like you said, you're getting to know Kevin a lot better, and getting to be friends with him and all that. So, do you have to audition for the movies that Kevin is? Do you still have to audition, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, because I did always have to audition for the King and Queens.
Even when you like got the part as Lisa the first time, you still had to re-audition?
Oh no. I had to audition for the lady, but that episode she only had like one line or one. I just knew it was going to turn into something. You know what I mean? Because she was getting a new job. It was a new storyline. I thought, well, they're gonna go to her office more. This is a great opportunity to get my foot in the door. So no, you're right, but I feel like I did because I had to do the boss.
Yeah.
But, I had a lot more pressure doing that. Let me make sure. I did not have to audition for Here Comes a Boom. They told me that they had thought of me for this role, and I remember they had thrown some names around of who was going to play the husband, and they were trying to get it. They were going to get a name. They had a couple ideas, and when they chose Henry, did you guys see Here Comes a Boom?
Yes.
Oh, loved it.
So good, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
so when they decided when Henry took the role, I had got where did we film that? It was in Boston, and I was there before him. I was in the makeup room, and everybody was going, he's the nicest man in the world. You're going to love him. Oh my gosh. And I was so excited because everybody just praised him. He comes in, and he was so sweet, and he comes over to me, and I kept thinking, is he not going to like that I'm so much taller than him? Because I'm tall. I mean, I'm tall, and I don't know how tall Henry is, but like I'm tall. Like I'm a lot taller than him. And I remember when he goes, stand up, and I stood up, and we're looking at the mirrors in the makeup trailer, and he's just smiling, looking at the mirror, and I'm so awkward, and I'm like, what were they thinking? Meaning to hire me when I'm so tall? Like I'm trying to put myself down. And I think he took it like, and he goes, what do you mean? They think I deserve a beautiful wife. And I was like, oh, thank you. Then I realized I think I offended him. So everyone just goes on and on about he's the nicest man and does everything and for kids. And I think but he was lovely. We didn't work a lot in the scenes together. I think just one time I gave him a little peck on the cheek. My scenes were mostly with Kevin, or completely with Kevin, right?
Yeah. Because there's a part where you or where he comes over, and then I think you answer the door, and you end up. That's how like your character finds out about what's going on, right?
Yeah. And then I had a scene at the airport where I kissed Henry. He walked away, and then I kissed Kevin on the cheek. So I got to kiss both of them.
Jenna's jealous. Awesome. Jenna's a huge Kevin James fan.
I am.
He's just the greatest. He really is. He's just the coolest.
That's awesome to hear.
Here Comes a Boom. That was excellent. I really enjoyed that movie
I
a
did.
lot.
Yeah.
I
Such a
thought so
great
too.
movie. I tell you what,
Yeah.
Henry Winkler had me like tearing up that towards the end where he was telling Kevin James, like, you've already won. Like, look at everybody in the stands and all. I was tearing up on that part. I mean, that was such a great movie. Was such a great, wholesome movie. I mean, it was so good.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I agree. It was so good. Yeah.
Now
I was just actually watching it with my kids the other day.
How old are your kids?
I have 4, ages 9 to 15. So
Okay.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2. They're both in college at the same college, so that's really fun. And they both live in a sorority house, not roommates, but they're in the same sorority house.
Oh,
So
awesome.
Nice.
So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they fight, and then they're the best of friends. So.
Well, they can look out for each other, right?
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, I feel almost guilty when my friends say, oh my gosh, it's so hard, empty nester and all this. And I can't even say anything because they're at USC. They're close.
Okay.
I'm in LA, they're in LA. So they're coming home on the weekend. So I don't even, by the time I get the house cleaned, they're back.
Can't get rid of them.
So we're really blessed and lucky. Yeah. That it's just so nice to have them close, but yeah.
That's awesome.
My parents are just leaving LA today. So I'm originally from Southern California. So I'm an LA girl as myself. So
okay.
It's a lot different here in North Carolina where I currently live.
Yeah. Is it cold? It's cold right now.
It's cold, but they don't have the good California food here. That's what I miss, like the California food.
What do you mean, salads? I mean, what's California?
No, well, the weird like hippie food that I love, they don't have that.
Like what? Like bowls? Like
I don't know, just random things that you can't find. Like the desserts out there too are just, I mean, amazing. As soon as I land at LAX, I'm like, food, where's the food?
Funny.
That's
funny.
Salads.
So you mentioned earlier the Farley brothers, right? They came to see your couple of your one act shows.
Yep.
Now so can you kind of tell us a little bit about, because you're in a couple of their movies, right?
Yeah. They greatest guys again. I mean, you hear a lot of negative things about, sometimes people in the business and, but we're talking Kevin James, Peter Farrelly, and Bobby Farrelly. I know Peter a lot better. Just salt of the earth, phenomenal, kind hearts, great, always helping their friends, always, just really good people. So yeah, they saw me and then they put me in Me, Myself, and Irene. They saw me in a theater show and I went into Me, Myself, and Irene. How about that? That was a good movie.
Love that movie. Love that movie.
Kids.
No.
I'm looking at IMDb. I cannot believe that was 22 years ago. The year 2000.
So,
I'm sorry. I mean, I remember watching that in theaters, so. And
I know.
Such
a
good
great
movie. So
fun to film too.
How would go ahead.
We filmed back east, I think in Rhode Island and I want to say Maine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they usually do a lot in the Northeast, right? Like those guys, right?
Boston. Well, they're from Rhode Island.
Yeah, there you go. Because I think because you play a trooper, right? And I think it was a Rhode Island State Trooper.
Yeah. Everything had to be fitted perfectly. I mean, I remember when we got fitted for like the boots and the hat and the jacket, and then I screwed everybody up and got pregnant. And so I went because they brought me back. I think I filmed 3 times. I went there, came home, went again, came home, and I think I went again. By the 3rd time, the pants didn't fit anymore because I was pregnant. But you couldn't really tell because the jacket, hit it and everything. But yeah, that was fun. I was very, very sick the whole time. The most of the time I shot that film.
Oh no!
Goodness.
So it wasn't really too enjoyable for you.
Yeah, I remember, but the beginning I wasn't. Just later, I think the last time I went there, then I was just really nauseous. But that was a great experience. That was just so much fun.
Well, I bet it was fun working with Jim Carrey.
Oh my gosh, right?
I love Jim Carrey.
I know, and I was so happy I had a scene with him. Yeah, he I know they did something where someone on the radio did some kind of contest and said whoever the first person that touches Jim Carrey will win like whatever $100 say it was. And it was a mob scene, like trying to get to set, and people were driving in, and it was just so out of hand, and Jim had heard on the radio that they were doing that, and kids did. I'm not even sure if it was like a school day or what, but everybody was just trying to touch him. So he pulled in, and it was before, like right at the very beginning of like before all these people are here. He was like on the outskirts, and he just said, "Hey kid, touch me," and he had someone touch him. It was over.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah,
now that's the part of a celebrity I could not deal with. It's almost scary. Like, oh my gosh, leave me alone.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Now, another Farley movie was Stuck on You, right? And you were in that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Greg Kinnear and
Matt Damon, right?
Matt Damon. Yeah.
That's another good one.
Yeah, I had one really great scene in that where I played a casting director, and I was doing a Double Bubble commercial.
Yes.
And I say something completely not politically correct that I'm not because this is my first podcast, and I'm not. But I said something not nice to them when they were auditioning, and
got that
so how
in my head.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Too, but,
my husband was in that. My husband is a comedian, and a stand-up comedian, and he played Cher's manager in it. So he was throughout the whole movie.
How is it working with your husband?
Oh, I don't like doing that.
You don't like
I know. No. Yeah. He's a goofball, and I take it all really serious. And like I said, I didn't want to audition for something I didn't think I was going to be right for, because then I don't want that strike against me. But he's just like, he's just Jackie. He's so easygoing, laid back. He doesn't, I make him work harder now. He does a lot better as an act. I mean, he's got it now. But I remember when I first met him, our first date, he said, we're sitting at a restaurant. He goes, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I've got like 2 or 3 pilot auditions tomorrow." And I'm like, why are you out with me? I would be pulling an all-nighter or study, and he just, so yes, he just doesn't take it as seriously, and kind of maybe isn't as prepared as I would like him to be at times. So I like to watch him, but not watch with him. Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh
my God, that's so funny. Because he was on a couple episodes of The King and Queens as well, right?
Yeah. And he did. He had a funny scene in. Was it Here Comes a Boom? When he was in the theater, and remember he moves over. I forget what happens. Kevin keeps asking questions or something in the I'm in the theater, like at a school.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's Kevin's friend and then
he does it something where someone's embarrassed and then moves over some seats. So either Kevin moves away from Jackie, or Jackie moves away from Kevin.
Okay. I'm on it now.
Uh-oh. Are we losing Wi-Fi?
Uh-oh. It's red. I don't like it.
We're back.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there we go. I see green. I'll edit this part out. Don't worry.
I have a question. How did you and your husband meet, and how long have you guys been married?
I think she's out again.
Let's see. My daughter is 22, so we've been married for 23 years. We met at the Improv in Los Angeles. He wasn't doing stand-up. I used to go there a lot, and when I had meetings, I would have dinner there. I'd love to go to the Improv, and we met there. He saw me there, and we started dating, and
nice.
That's it.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
You guys met at the Improv. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Does he still do a lot of stand up, or is it mostly acting for him these days?
No, he's mostly a stand up.
Okay.
But I mean, I think that's the worst job you could have with COVID because you need a crowd.
Yeah.
So we got hit hard through COVID, as many people did, but he's just now able to, start, going back out on the road, and not even the road, but corporate gigs and things like that. He's actually right now in Florida for 2 weeks. So
okay.
Okay, cool. So you're just doing some podcasts. You're gonna start your own podcast now that you got the hang of it, or what?
If I could keep this little antenna green, maybe every time. Oh, here we go again.
So we what we do every week is we put up like different polls for our guests. Normally we talk about a specific show, and people rate the show. But what we did this week was we put up a poll asking what was their favorite episode that you were in of King of Queens.
Oh.
And let me pull it up real quick. And again, I'll edit all this out. I say that, and then
he never does.
I never do. Very, very unprofessional right now, Nikki. I apologize.
No worry.
So their favorite episode was Sheer Torture, and you had mentioned earlier you were at the gym with Carrie.
Yeah.
So that's that episode. That's the part you're in with that one. Yeah, like so Doug has a quote unquote hot hairdresser that he goes to.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, I do.
Yeah,
that's right. That was a good one.
And then Carrie in your character are they're getting stretched out by the trainer. So like that's Carrie's version of the hot hairdresser.
Yep.
And I think that trainer ended up marrying Nicole Sullivan.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
See, this is why I love having people on who are on the show, because all the different insights.
Mr. Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, and also the episode that we talked about, the Moxie Moron, the girl that brought the baskets in was Leah's sister, Leah Remini.
Oh,
wow!
I noticed that.
Yeah, so when she pushed the she's like, "Oh, congratulations!" That's Leah's sister.
Oh,
yeah. And, okay.
That's
here's
crazy.
Another one, which I'm sure you guys must have figured this one out. Do you guys know who the other secretary is in the scene?
Laura
with me,
Silverman.
Leah, and she's the other secretary in the office. Do you know who that is?
Yeah,
that's
Laura
the one
Silverman.
who has
Yes. Silverman's sister.
Yeah.
Sarah Silverman's sister.
Sarah Silverman.
Yes, Shannon.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh.
No, is it Shannon? I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I have IMDb up right now. Hold on.
Yes. Sarah Silverman. Laura Silverman was playing in King of Queens.
It's Laura Silverman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura Silverman.
And Sarah Silverman's her sister.
Yes.
There you go.
Yep.
And Moxie Moran is the number 2.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
All right.
Out of all your episodes, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I like how Doug took over and got Gary or Danny lost. Remember?
Oh yeah. Because Doug and Deacon take over as a temporary supervisors. As a supervisor O'Boyle goes to rehab.
Yep.
So coming in at number 3 was Hartford Whaler. This is when Carrie. Yes, you go out of town.
Okay.
Carrie and then the other secretary.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be building houses, and you guys end up going out in Hartford and clubbing and bringing firemen back to the hotel room.
See, I think that one's my favorite one.
That's a great one. That one was one of the last ones I did, and I had a great time doing that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's a funny episode.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't really remember that one because I just watched it right before right before we started recording.
Yeah.
And that for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know why. I maybe I just haven't seen it a bunch of times.
That's where Doug surprises her.
Yes, Doug surprises her. She doesn't want him out there.
I was trying to remember which episode was the one where she's like, do people think I'm nice? And I'm like, I think you're nice. And she's like, do you remember that? I can't remember. I don't know what episode that is.
I remember that one.
Yes.
But I don't
remember.
I
used that on my reel, that scene, because I love that scene, but I don't. It's the only one I think on the King of Queens that I use.
Was it Like Hell? No.
I don't know, but because I couldn't remember what the premise of the show was about. I just remember she didn't think people liked her. And or I told her people didn't like her. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, Like Hell. Yeah, because that's where Doug tries to, he's not invited to Jared's barbecue or something like that. And I swear that has to be it. Let me check it out. That's
going down memory lane.
Yeah.
I think this is the one because he's trying to impress that IPS driver. And Carrie tries to help Laura Silverman's character get all pretty and all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the episode.
Okay, good. Like Hell. All right.
Yep.
There you go. So if you turn on the TV and it happens to be on, is that something you sit down and watch the rest of the episode, or are you just like
No,
this is old hat to me?
No, no. I love watching it. It just never gets old. I mean,
right.
Kevin's physical comedy is just so. I was so fortunate just to be able to, like, when I was working and say I did a scene, and I'm, sometimes you rehearse and then you wait until you run lines, and then you wait to rehearse, and you have a lot of downtime. And I would just sit and watch him and just like, oh my gosh, he's just like, you just don't get you never get sick of it. He's just so entertaining.
Yeah.
He really is. I mean, so no, I love watching the episodes.
That's awesome. Do you ever do you enjoy like watching yourself? Or like, I know some people we've interviewed. Yeah. No, she says no.
No, but the Like Hell episode, that was the only one where I was like, oh, okay. But what was funny about that was it wasn't even my initial instinct to deliver it the way I did. Like I had done something else, and then the director said, hey, da 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 da, and I was like, oh, okay. But I know that there's an acting coach out here that said he uses that little piece to show his students like timing. Wow. And it's flattering, but at the same time, and deep inside, I know that wasn't my first instinct to deliver like that. I wanted to do something else, but so I'm like, oh, thank you, I think. Yeah. I don't like to watch myself. I really don't. I didn't like, it's very rare that I'll, be okay. And that scene, actually, I was like, oh, okay. All right. That's good.
That's funny.
Right?
Yeah. Normally I don't like to listen to myself. Like I'll edit the podcast and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh. Yes, all the time. I'm like, who wants to listen to me talk or laugh?
We love your laugh.
Dusty, so do you want to ask some of the questions? So we also put out another post asking for some listener questions for you. So
right.
Okay.
Dusty,
and
fire when ready.
Basically, I mean, everything was discussed on all the questions that was asked on this post. But there's one question that I really like that wasn't discussed yet. But Ted James Trafton from Wyndham, Maine asked, what is your most memorable interaction with Kevin James?
Hmm.
And it could be, either King of Queens, Paul Blart, Here
Does
Comes
it
the
have
Moon.
to? Can it just be not while we're shooting?
Oh, yeah,
So definitely.
I went up one time to thank him. Like, I think it was maybe the third or fourth time they brought me back as Lisa. And I was waiting and watching him, and I was like, you got to say something. You just got to thank him, because he's the guy. I mean, he's the guy. I mean, if he didn't like you, didn't matter who wanted to write you in or the director. If he didn't like you, if he didn't like your work. So I remember going up to him and I was thanking him, and he goes, no. And I go, well, this is my third character. And he goes, look, it's all you. You're doing it now. They're writing you in. He goes, I'm not even, I just show up, and the writers now have got this character. And so it was just such a nice, really nice thing for him to like say. And like I said, he's always just been so good to me. But yeah, no, I'm really lucky to have him and the Fairley brothers, in my life. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. That's great. What about interactions with Jerry Stiller? I mean, I know you had that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know you had that scene.
So, the first time, no, that wasn't the first time. So my girls, Jackie was actually, my husband was working, and I brought my girls, and they were little then, to the set. And Jerry was in his dressing room. So there's craft services over here, and his dressing room runs along the same line as it. And my kids were probably like, I don't know, 5 and 7. And all they wanted to do was go to craft services. So we're walking by, and Jerry kind of goes, hey, like trying to get the kids' attention or whatever. And I go, oh, girls, meet Mr. Stiller. This is Mr. Stiller. And they walk in, and they don't want to, and they have no idea this is Jerry, right?
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing as a mom, because you're like, don't embarrass me. Oh my gosh. But you just want to go over to craft services because there's like candy there. And I remember, he kind of, come here. And then we go in his dressing room, and I could see the like look on their face where they're just like, can we go? And so rules that his son Ben is in Night of the Museum, and all of a sudden they're like, huh? And then it's like, I'm Ben Stiller's dad. I thought he was like so cool just because he was Ben Stiller's dad, which was so funny because he was so successful on his own. But kids, they'll embarrass you any chance.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then another time with Jerry, my husband's from Massachusetts and I'm from Northern California. So we kind of made a deal when we got married that we would head back east over the summer. So the kids, and then we could still live in Southern California. So we used to go back there, and we would go to the Nantucket Comedy Festival because my husband would perform. And Jerry would had a house on Nantucket. So you always could find Jerry swimming every morning really early with a bathing cap on, and he was swimming the ocean up and back. And so we would hear that. And so one day I go, let's go see if Jerry's out there swimming. And we walk out there. There he is, just laps every morning. He would just make laps. So we went to look for him, I think 3 times, and 3 times we found him swimming laps in the ocean in the morning.
Wow.
Probably my biggest regret working on that show was he had asked us to go to breakfast, and he goes, I'd love to take you and the girls to this place called the White Elephant and have breakfast and da-da-da-da. And my husband, we went back, and it was the next day, and the kids were just like, I don't want to go. And I didn't force them because it was just super stressful. And we're always in one little hotel room. And so my husband went without me, and I thought, oh my gosh, he invited me to breakfast. I didn't go. I'm so mad. But yeah, Jerry was great. He loved my husband, because my husband's a great comedian, really, really great stand-up comedian. And Jerry always went to the comedy festival, like I said, in the Nantucket Comedy Festival. And he started sending us a Christmas card, and it would be from some artist. And every year until last year, we got a Christmas card, probably since 2000. I don't even know. At least for 15 years, we've been getting a Christmas. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
And
amazing.
he knew me, but he knew my husband a lot. He respected he respected his work. And I don't even know how we got on his Christmas card list. I really don't. But yeah, it was just, I mean, we've kept them all. We have all of them. So it's really cool.
That is so cool.
We've had how many actors and actresses? I mean, 6 or 7.
Yeah. 6 or 7.
So 6 or 7, and every person who has said the same exact thing. Like, Jerry was just a genuine person, and even somebody did talk about the Christmas card thing.
Yeah,
and
really?
that is that is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah,
wow.
For him to think of
Maybe it was
people
meant
like
for
that.
me. I always thought it was for my husband.
Oh no. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like great.
That's so sweet.
I mean, it's so sweet of him, and that's amazing.
Legend.
Yeah, I remember when I did the I think it was the wedding coordinator, and he asked to run lines with me, and I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" With you, and he's like, "Do you mind running it?" And then a little time would pass, and he'd say, if you want to run it again, you want to run, and he just, I'm guessing as you get older, because I already am experienced, it's harder to remember everything. And I was just so honored to be running lines with him. It was just so it was so surreal,
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. It's amazing. I'm so happy to hear this common theme. It's a common theme that he's was just a great person. So
yeah. No, he really was.
I mean, I'm not surprised, I'm just saying it's just it's not like a one-off. So.
Yeah. His house was right by that area that he would swim. And I just thought it was so cool that anyone that wanted to see him could just watch him swim. He was always It was so funny.
Every time you say something about him swimming, it makes me think of Kramer from Seinfeld putting that skull cap on and going swimming in the nasty river. I don't know. No. I don't know why.
That's funny.
Oh man. So I think I'm just trying to think of what else. I mean, we asked all the questions. You've been excellent, by the way.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Good.
This has been very easy for me and Jenna and Dusty, because you're basically it's like you're reading our minds.
Yes.
All the questions are being answered. So
good.
What so you said you've been doing some auditions, self-taping yourself and all that. Is there anything coming up that we should look out for, or
nothing right now? I did I have a couple things still in film festivals just because of COVID, even though I shot it a while ago. I know this indie film I did called Leave 'Em Laughing. It's a short. And I know that's still in the circuit just because COVID knocked everything out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
no one could go to film festivals anymore. They were trying to do them online. I don't know how successful that was. And then, so I know that's kind of, around out in some of the festivals. But yeah, no, I had an audition a couple days ago for The Rookie and did my self-tape upstairs and my kids play
that show.
Do you like? I don't know if I've seen it yet.
It's a really good show. My dad was LAPD, so I was like, I have to watch this show. So, I can't think of his name. I think of as Richard Castle from his other show.
Oh yeah.
But whoever the actor who plays, yes, I love him too.
Well, it's a remake, right? Because there used to be a Rookie. It was called The Rookie, and it was about police officers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is it a remake? Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
I think it might be.
Okay.
I'm not sure. They make so many policeman shows or police shows and stuff. So
yeah. No, hopefully I'll be working on it.
Oh, well, fingers crossed. I'm like, oh, yay, she got it. Woohoo. They better put you on.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna have to watch that show now. If you get on there, or when you get on there, I should say. So
I got one question.
Yeah, shoot.
All right, Dusty.
What is your all-time favorite show?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh.
That's hard. I mean, I don't think I can answer truthfully because because you just said Seinfeld, it's making me want to say Seinfeld because that's so brilliant. But and everybody loves Raymond and King of Queens. I mean, it's tough. It's definitely a sitcom. It's definitely one of the older sitcoms.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
I mean, I love all the new stuff. I love Ozark and, all the, but definitely back in the day they had when it was multi-camera and it's just, I don't even, are there shows? I don't even know if there's any sitcoms right now that are like multi-cameras like that.
No, I
It's
can't think of any. Yeah.
It used to be live audiences and,
Yeah.
and it was so, you had to get it on the first, try because that's when that was fresh and new to them. I mean, there was that feeling of like, making everybody laugh. And then it really sucked if you messed your lines up and then had to do it again because they already know the punchline,
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I loved all the shows back, with the live audiences and all that.
Yeah, it's funny because, I've been trying to find stuff that is like King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond, and Seinfeld, and the only one that comes close to them is Schitt's Creek. I love that
Schitt's
show.
Creek is great.
Yeah,
that's
great show.
Great. Yeah, I watched that. My husband, that belly laughed him, boy.
Yes, love it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Ozark. I mean, I just watched the season 4 part 1. Are you up to that? Did you watch all that?
Oh,
you binged it?
They're gone. It's gone. Yeah. It was good.
I can't wait for part 2. I mean,
I think the first couple seasons were for me better.
Yeah.
Well, no. Are there more? Are they adding more episodes to the last season? Because the way it ended. Okay. Yeah, I was a little confused, and my girlfriend said, "No, I think they're going to add. There's more to come." So
yeah, it's like season 4 part 1, and then season 4 part 2 is coming out later this year.
Okay. All right. Then I can't say that yet because it's not.
Oh yeah, if it ended like that, I'd be very upset.
Right? At first I thought it ended like that, and then my girlfriend's like, "No, I think that they've got to. It just can't be over like that." I was like, "Right? Something's."
Yeah. Because you gotta. I don't want to give anything away in case people haven't watched it. But
right.
Remember the very first scene of the new season. They haven't shown yet, because everything's basically a flashback from then.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. now we're talking Ozark.
I've never watched it.
I haven't seen it.
I saw you had Jimmy Schubert on.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy.
Schubert. Yeah, Jimmy was great. We had Jimmy. So are you good friends with him or? Yeah.
He didn't tell me. I mean, we don't, but he's come to our Christmas Eve party probably 15 times. Yeah, he's good friends with my husband.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's an amazing stand-up comedian, and if any of you ever are in town when he's performing, he's so good.
I've seen clips. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
he's hilarious.
Oh
yes.
Yeah, he is.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think he was in Florida
he was
that night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. But it was great. Unfortunately, we had some technical problems that night too.
Yes, my stuff wasn't working.
Yeah, Dusty didn't get on that bonus episode.
Yeah. No, he's amazing. He's really great. He does this whole bit about emotional support animals on airplanes. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah.
I gotta listen to that.
So, all right. Well, Nikki,
Good meeting everybody.
Nikki
Yeah,
Tyler-Flynn.
nice meeting you.
This was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much fun.
Fangirling over here.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? One more question. Desperate Housewives. Believe it or not, I watched that show. And
Do you watch it? That was good.
I used to watch it, and you were on that.
Yeah.
As a nurse.
Yeah.
How was it working on that show?
So it was great. What's funny is, through my career, not now so much, but when I was younger, people always thought I looked like Felicity Huffman, to the point where I would take my kids to the doctor, and we had a pediatrician on Beverly Drive, and paparazzi would be waiting outside and, like chasing us, like literally thought I was Felicity many times. I've been in auditions where someone's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm doing here?"
I'm trying to get some work.
Right. But when I got Desperate Housewives, I thought, again, I might get fired because like I'm sitting there like they're going to go, "You look too much like the lead." And I'm sitting in the makeup chair. Nobody says a peep to me. And I said, the makeup lady, I go, so you don't do Felicity's makeup, do you? And she's like, "No, why, do you know her?" And I'm like, no, nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I played oh gosh, what was the guy that was dying? The really, really rich guy, the old guy, and he's the grandfather to, oh my gosh.
I know who you're talking about.
The woman that tells a story, the voice of Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Her husband was Mark Moses. That it has his real name, not the actor's name. I don't know what it is on the show. And then remember, he had a son, and it was his grandfather, really rich. So I was his nurse on that.
Yep. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I think his name was Noah on the show. I don't know. It says Noah's nurse, so I'm assuming.
Noah would be the older guy. Yeah. It was dying.
Yeah.
It was so long ago. If you saw the scene, you'd be like, "Oh, that's right," because he stabbed me with his needle.
Mm-hmm. I remember that scene.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That must have been something crazy.
Yeah. That was fun though. I was a fan of that show. So to work on it was like pretty cool. And it's funny, like not like I worked on Star Trek, and I didn't watch Star Trek. I had never watched Star Trek. And I mean, the original I watched, but I'd never watched like Voyager and all that. And when people started contacting me to do like conventions and, autograph signings and stuff, I just never responded. I was like, why? I had such a small part. I did 2 episodes, but small part. But it ended up that I was the mom to someone who was very famous on the show. And she played, you guys clearly don't watch it, but she played one of the main characters, 7 of 9. And believe it or not, that's what I'm most famous for.
Wow.
Like, people like that. It's really like they have an incredible following, and it's an insane world. So I, like last summer, even though COVID had started up again, I went to Vegas for for a week. We do like autograph signings there, and it's a really cool thing. I mean, I thought the people, in my mind had a perceived idea what, but they're just amazing. The doctors, lawyers, just super intrigued and interested in the whole, Star Trek world. And it's, so.
Sounds like Harry Potter fans.
Yeah.
It's a jab at me.
Yeah, because Jenna's a Harry Potter fan.
And Star Wars. I prefer Star Wars over Star Trek.
Oh no!
but I'm gonna have to maybe start watching Star Trek.
I used to love Star Trek.
And go to, it's the Comic-Con, right, that you go to then?
No, it's just for Star Trek.
Oh, just for, okay. Yeah, I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, it's once a year in Las Vegas. It's a week. It's like 6 days. And yeah, it's insane. They get, I have no idea, hundreds of, I mean, it's insane. People come from all over the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, it is. And I go by, it's just a lot of fun. I go by myself and just kind of, you meet other people you're sitting near, and people that come up always like, it's a lot of fun. So
do you see a lot of crazy costumes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. People come dressed up. They have, I think it's called cosplay, where
Yeah.
yeah. And this one guy I've met, I think I've 3 times seen him at, in Vegas at this, and he has this like falcon, like his wings go out. He has a bird up on his shoulder that talks. And I mean, his wings go like 20 feet. It's insane. And I'm sure it's after some character, but I don't even know what it is. But yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Wow, awesome.
Different.
Well, Nikki, we don't want to take any more of your time.
No, yeah, it was great meeting you guys. I'm glad
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So persistent, Dustin.
Hey, what can I say?
And sweet and nice about it. You were very sweet about it.
I appreciate that. Thank you for coming on.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's getting famous on TikTok. He's got a couple million views on some of his videos. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check you out. Wait, what's your little name on there?
Yeah. Gonna have to. Yes.
Dustin Salisbury?
Yeah, but it's under Do Work Baseball, Softball NC. It's also a King of Queens thing too.
We're all over the place.
So Do Work Baseball is my baseball. I have a baseball business here in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So I do like baseball and softball stuff. So it's Do Work, DOWORK, baseball, softball, NC.
NC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna look you up.
All right.
That's awesome.
We got a bunch of our podcast stuff on there, a bunch of comedy stuff, and then we also, me and my wife recreate King of Queens scenes from the show. So we got like over 30 videos of that too on there.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Check me
He's
out.
Starting to go viral.
That's really cool. I love it. I listen, I can't do computers, but I do TikTok.
Right. That sounds like me. I don't do computers either, but I'll do TikTok.
Don't do that. But the TikTok I got into.
I actually think I started following you a couple weeks ago on TikTok.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I think I did.
Oh my gosh, there's one thing there with my husband. He almost killed me, but you've got to scroll down. That's what, listen, I don't have that many followers like you do, but I think the one that got me followers was, my husband was making a egg salad sandwich. You have to scroll down and see this one. It's got like I think it's got like 2.5 million views. So he has this like, really precise system of like getting the eggs cold enough and everything he puts in it. And he's going to go off to golf. And my daughter Riley had woke up and she's sitting at the counter. And I said, he cut it in half and now he wants it to get a little colder. So he puts it like in the refrigerator. And I go, Riley, take half the sandwich and put it in the cupboard and act like you ate it and watch Dad just snap. And he's like, you have to watch it. He is so bad, but it's just the way he is. And those comedians, they all have their Jackie is very harmless and he's hysterical, but he gets annoyed and he is annoying. And he threw such a tantrum over this egg salad sandwich that people were appalled. But little do they know that my daughter's like 21, okay, because she just woke up and they thought she was like some little girl that he ate her sandwich, that she was hungry and wanted some of his sandwich and he threw a fit. But you have to check it out. It's very funny.
Oh, I just started following. I didn't even know you had TikTok. So awesome. I'm gonna have to look for that video tonight.
Yep.
Yes. Well, guys, great meeting everybody. I don't even know how to sign off here. Steve, what do I do? Just sit here and you shut me down?
So we're going to say goodbye real quick. I'll stop recording. I'll walk you through it.
It's so nice meeting everybody.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a great one. We'll talk to everyone next week.